And we are joined now by Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware. Senator, thanks for being with us. First off, this bill looks likely to pass. If it does, how will your state handle any spike in people who no longer have Medicaid coverage?
Well, Brianna, the estimate from my home small state of Delaware is that tens of thousands of Delawareans, more than 40,000, will be thrown off of Medicaid. I met with 30 nurses earlier this week. Nurses who care for seniors in nursing homes, for disabled Delawareans, for newborns, and who help support the families who care for them. They came to D.C. with a message: don't let Republicans throw millions of Americans and tens of thousands of Delawareans off of health care. This will be the single greatest clawback of health care coverage in modern American history. It'll close rural hospitals. It'll harm families, it'll impact communities, and that's why I'm working so hard to try and make this bill less harmful. Brianna, I just got a vote on an amendment. Sadly, it got 48 votes for it and 52 against it. It would have stripped away some of the worst of this bill. Republicans are determined to keep the most harmful aspects of this tragic bill.
Being in the minority, you don't have the votes. And so I know Democrats are, of course, eyeing the next election here. You have Senator Warner, your Democratic colleague from Virginia, saying that this bill will be a political albatross for Republicans. Do you think Republicans are going to have the kind of summer that Democrats had in 2010 after the passage of Obamacare?
Absolutely. And that's what Senator Thom Tillis said on the floor last night. Senator Tillis of North Carolina did the analysis, walked around his caucus, handed out a sheet of paper and said to his colleagues, here's the very real impact on your states, on your communities, and on rural hospitals. And yet they are barreling ahead with this bill. He's decided not to run for re-election because he wasn't able to persuade his colleagues to claw back some of the worst aspects of this bill. I think there's going to be hell to pay for the Republicans voting for this once their home communities learn just how harmful it is for them.
Do you think the potential political fallout of this bill could give Democrats a shot at the Senate? And I say that knowing, of course, that it's still a very tough map. But do you think that Democrats have a chance? How are you seeing it?
Brianna, we're going to have to communicate, engage the American people, help them understand how a president and a party who ran on lowering their costs are actually going to raise their costs for health care, for energy, for groceries. Between Trump's failed tariff policies and this terrible big tax bill that's providing tax cuts for billionaires at the expense of health care for the middle class. If we do that and do that well, yes, I think the Senate's in reach in the next election. It'll be an uphill climb, but it's doable.
Turning now to Iran, President Trump had a lot to say to you in the middle of the night. He posted on social media after you compared his administration's negotiations with Iran to former President Obama's Iran deal. He said, actually, tell phony Democrat Senator Chris Coons that I am not offering Iran anything, unlike Obama, who paid them billions under the stupid Road to a Nuclear Weapon JCPOA, which would now be expired, nor am I even talking to them since we totally obliterated their nuclear facilities. What's your response to that?
So, Brianna, first on President Trump declaring immediately after the strikes that he had obliterated the nuclear program. Like President Bush, he's rushing to declare mission accomplished when we don't yet know that. So what the American people and Congress and the administration should be doing is giving time for a depoliticized, clear-eyed assessment of just how much damage was done to Iran's nuclear enrichment program and what happened to the 900 pounds of highly enriched uranium that Iran may very well have relocated before the strikes. Don't believe me on this. Listen to the head of the IAEA, the UN agency that monitors Iran's nuclear program. His assessment is they may well have moved these critical 900 pounds of enriched uranium, and they may be back on track to enriching in a matter of months. First. Second, I was commenting on press accounts that the Trump administration was offering to Iran unfreezing frozen Russian assets and up to $30 billion of investment in their nuclear program in exchange for diplomacy that would secure an end to Iran's nuclear program. I agree with lots of folks here in the Senate and the administration and around the world that Iran should never have a nuclear bomb. They are a threatening and aggressive regime that say all the time they want to impose a death to America and they want to wipe out Israel. They shouldn't have a nuclear bomb. But President Trump is racing to say he's achieved that goal when we don't know that yet.
Whatever the effect of U.S. strikes on Iran, there was at least some setback, even if it was just a few months.
Yes.
What is clear, experts are saying, is that it should be coupled with a diplomatic solution here. So when you look at those things, and CNN is reporting some of what you said about what is on the table between the Trump administration and Iran, do you like what is on the table in negotiations?
Well, I don't know what that menu is yet, given President Trump's tweet. It suggests that that's not the real menu. As you just read it to me on Truth Social, President Trump said we're not even talking to the Iranians. I do want to encourage diplomacy and negotiation.
Okay, but
the
I just want to
weakest in decades.
I want to backtrack with you on that, because you're also aware that he has sort of said we may not, I don't even know if it's necessary that we need a deal. And when you listen to experts, they say it's very clear that we do. And I think there's an understanding that Trump may be sort of downplaying the necessity for a deal. With that,
Yes.
knowing that, this idea of possibly helping Iran access as much as $30 billion to build a civilian energy producing nuclear program, easing sanctions, freeing up billions of dollars in restricted Iranian funds. This is what CNN is reporting the Trump administration has discussed possibly helping Iran access. What do you like about those things?
What I like about it is it's moving towards negotiating an end to Iran's enrichment program and restoring 24/7 full spectrum inspections. We also have to pay attention to and end Iran's aggressive ballistic missile program and its support for proxy terrorist groups throughout the region. If we could achieve that through diplomacy, that would be a significant step forward for regional peace, for the security of the United States, and for the security of Israel.
Senator Chris Coons, thank you so much for taking the time for us today.
Thank you, Brianna.